What is up, guys? It's XX Modern Warfare here, Gamertag Banjo Chicken, and welcome back to another Dash kernel updating video. Hopefully this will be the last time I do one of these update videos for updating your Xbox 360 Dash kernel to the latest Dash. And today we're going to be updating to 17349. There's nothing wrong with watching episode 24 for this. The only reason I'm remaking another update video is because there's a couple of things that I didn't explain in episode 24. I did add them in as annotations and notes in the description, but then a lot of people don't read the description, and a lot of people have annotations turned off on the videos, and then they're confused and they're asking me in the comments about different things. So I'm going to try and go over everything in this video for updating your Xbox 360 to the latest Dash kernel. You definitely should do this every time a new Dash update comes out, even if you don't go online, because if you keep putting it off and putting it off, you're going to end up with problems like Connect not working. New games will get errors when you launch them, and security updates will appear for games in the future if you don't update your Dash kernel. So you should be updating your Dash kernel every time a new update comes out. So anyway, so we're going to be updating from 17150 to 17349, but you can do this, you can follow this video for hopefully all the future updates. So in, I don't know, a year's time, if they're still putting out new updates for the 360, this video you should still be able to follow it. I'll keep putting the new Dash kernel builds of XeBuild for all the new updates in the description for future updates as well, not just 17349 but all the future ones after it. So here we go. So what we're going to need is simple 360 NAND flasher or any other flashing tool. Flash 360 or raw flash would do as well. Simple 360 NAND flasher works on more Xbox motherboards, and it's basically write and dump. That's all. So it's quite simple, hence the name, and that's why I like it. It's my favorite NAND flasher out of the three that's available, or the three main ones that are available. XeBuild GUI for 17349 or whatever the future equivalent Dash kernel versions are that you're wanting to update. And we're also going to need the system update, but I'll go through that later. So first thing we need to do is update the Dash kernel, and then we can do the avatar update and all that stuff afterwards, and I'll explain why that's important as well. But first of all, we need to do the Dash kernel updates. So what we're going to need to do is get simple 360 NAND flasher. You can download it here. I'll put the link in the description, of course, as the same with XeBuild and the system update. So what we're going to do first of all is run or open our little zip file for simple 360 NAND flasher, and all we want is this folder, simple 360 NAND flasher, and we're going to put it on a USB stick. So the USB stick needs to be FAT32 format. I've got a USB here. You can see if we right click and go to properties, it says file system is FAT32, must be FAT32. USB sticks should be FAT32 by default. So we'll go in our USB stick and we'll just extract this simple 360 NAND flasher folder to our USB. And that's all we have to do. So now what we're going to do is we're going to plug this USB stick into the console, and I will show you guys what to do from there. Okay guys, so now that we're onto the dashboard, what you want to do is plug in your USB stick and head over to XeX menu, or you can launch the simple 360 NAND flasher through Neighborhood, or you can launch it through the Freestyle Dash file manager, whichever you prefer. I'm going to load up XeX menu and launch it through XeX menu. So when XeX menu loads up, we're going to press right bumper and press X, and we're going to select the USB stick. We're going to select the simple 360 NAND flasher folder, and we're going to press A on the default.xex file, which will launch simple 360 NAND flasher. Now what you're going to do is simply press X to back up your NAND. It should be the only option available to you right now, so just press X to back it up and wait for it to complete. This should be quite fast. If you've got a Jasper big block NAND, which means a NAND that's 256 or 512 megabytes, this will take for quite a long time. It will take its time, but most NANDs for the Xbox 360 are 16 megabytes, so it should be fairly fast for you if you have a 16 megabyte NAND. But just wait till it gets to 100%, and once it has finished backing up the NAND like it has right now, we can press any button to exit. should take us back to Freestyle Dash. For me anyway, it's my default path is Freestyle Dash. And when we have returned to Freestyle Dash, I'm just going to go back on XEX menu because you want to check to make sure that the file has been backed up, that your NAND has been backed up to a file. So when we go back on XEX menu, we're going to head back to our USB stick into our Simple 360 NAND flasher folder, and we should now see a flashdmp.bin. There's also a log file. Don't really have to worry about that. It's the flashdmp.bin file that we're after. So once you've confirmed you have that file backed up, you can unplug your USB stick, and we'll go back over to the computer and show you how to update the NAND. Okay guys, so now that we are back over to the computer, what we're going to do is open up our USB stick, which contains our flashdmp.bin file on it. So we're going to head into Simple 360 NAND flasher. We've got our flashdmp, we're going to drag that to our desktop. So this is our NAND file that we're going to have to update. So what we're going to do now, go ahead and open up XeBuild GUI, whichever is the latest version from the description, and you're going to copy that to the desktop, that folder. I already have it copied over here, so we're going to open this up. We're going to double click on XeBuild, maybe run it as administrator if you don't have user account control disabled. And we're going to open up our source file, which is going to be our flashdmp.bin. And now that we have that in here, what we're going to do is just make sure. Now, first of all, if you load this in and it gives you an error, it says the size is incorrect, or the NAND is not zero paired, or something weird like that. Normally it either means that the NAND is corrupted and you have to take another backup because the original one you did corrupted it for some reason, which is very unlikely, I guess. So the other reason is that you have a Corona motherboard, and unfortunately this tutorial will not work for you if you have a Corona motherboard. Corona motherboards are very specific. You need to change a bunch of settings in the advanced mode of XeBuild. I'll try and find a separate guide in the description for you Corona users out there who need to update. If I find a guide for Coronas, I'll put it in the description. But I don't have a Corona myself, so I can't really make an update video for Coronas. So any other motherboard, this video is fine, but Coronas unfortunately not. But like I say, I'll try and put a guide for Coronas in the description. So if you load the NAND up in the source file, everything's fine, then you don't have a Corona. In fact, it will tell you here in the motherboard section, it should auto select what motherboard you have. I have a Trinity, so it auto selects Trinity. Build type should also be auto selected, so mine selected RGH1. That's based on the NAND. I think it's actually an RGH2 I have, but it doesn't matter. If you have an RGH, you can select RGH1 or 2 and it should work just fine. Obviously if you have a Jtag, it should also auto select freeboot Jtag. So once you have that, your build type and your motherboard, you then need to get your CPU key. And a couple of ways you can get your CPU key. Number one, if you have it on a CD that you got from the person who sold you your RGH, then you'll have it on a text document like I have here. You can just copy and paste it into the CPU key box. The other way you get it is from Zell. So if you turn the console on by the eject button, you will load up into Zell, and you can see once Zell's finished doing its thing, it gets down and it shows you your CPU key and your DVD key, so you can type in each individual letter and number, which is a painstaking process, into this box. Or what you can do is get it from the network. So in order to do that, you need to have your console wired connection to your router or computer, and you essentially can take this network config address that it gives you here and type it into the IP to Zell box. So if I type in 34, you can see 192.168.134.34. I copy that IP address in here, and then I can click get CPU key from network, and it takes a few seconds, and there we go. So it copies and pastes it in here. That took a while. Doesn't normally take that long. I was getting worried there. But yeah, it grabs it from the network, from Zell, and pastes it into the box for you, and you know that that's 100% correct. It should be ticked in here, and those are kind of the main ways to get your CPU key. Okay, so once you have that all sorted, next thing is the kernel version. Make sure that's on the latest kernel version, which is 17349 from when I'm making this video. And you also want to make sure include Dashlaunch is ticked. It should be by default. Disable fcrt.bin check. This is something I forgot to mention in episode 24, because if you leave this unchecked, it could cause your DVD drive not to work. So make sure it is ticked if you want your DVD drive to work. And then click check KV as well, which will display your KV information. Just make sure your DVD key is correct in here as well. If you have that checked and your DVD key is correct, then you shouldn't have any problems with your DVD drive after the update. Okay, so once you have that all sorted, all you have to do is click generate hacked image, and it will update the NAND to the latest dash kernel. And that's it. So once you've done that, it should give you the UPD flash file. This is your updated NAND. And this is the updated NAND we're going to flash to the console. Do not get rid of your flashdmp. Keep that as a backup just in case there's something wrong with the UDP flash. Very unlikely that there would be, but just be careful. Keep a backup of that flashdmp. And what we're going to do is we're going to go back onto the USB stick. We're going to open Simple 360 NAND Flasher. We're going to delete the flashdmp. We've still got the backup on the desktop. And we're going to copy our UPD flash file to our Simple 360 NAND Flash folder. And now we're going to unplug that USB stick, plug it into the console, and we're going to flash that to the NAND with Simple 360 NAND Flasher. Okay, so now that we're back onto the console, we're going to plug in our USB stick again, and we're going to head back over to XeX menu. And now that it has loaded up, we go back to our USB stick, pressing X and selecting our USB drive. Click on Simple 360 NAND Flasher, start the default.xex file. And you should now have three options. You can either X to backup, or dump your NAND, B if you want to safe flash your NAND so that it dumps and writes it at the same time, or press A if you just want to flash it. We already have a backup, so we can just press A to flash our NAND, and press start after that to confirm that we want to flash our NAND. And now we just wait for this to finish and reach 100%. So that's basically that. Just leave this to reach 100. Okay, so once it hits 100%, it will automatically shut down the console after 5 seconds. Alright guys, so we've got the console booted up now. Now what you have to do, I couldn't really tell you because the recording cut off when the console turned off. But when the console turns off, unplug the power cable from the console and plug it back in. That's what you want to do. Unplug the power cable from the console, unplug it back in, and then turn it back on, and it should boot up if everything went successfully. So basically, now that we have the console booted up, you notice that it went straight into Freestyle Dash again. It kept my Dashlaunch settings because I checked the box to include Dashlaunch. This is why you want to do that, because if you don't do that, it will boot you back into the normal Dash, and you're going to be like, oh, now I have to wait for a new version of Dashlaunch, or you have to reinstall your Dashlaunch settings again by editing the launch.ini or opening an older version of Dashlaunch if it still works with the new kernel. As long as you check that box to include Dashlaunch, your Dashlaunch settings should stay the same, and it's booted me back into Freestyle Dash here. One thing that you have to notice is that we're missing our avatar. This is actually quite important. If you think it's finished, I mean, if we go back to the original dashboard by dashboarding and holding down right bumper, will take us back to the normal dash. And if we go to System, Console Settings, and we go to System Info, we can see it says dashboard is 2.0.17349. That means we have updated to the latest dash kernel. You could stop here, but our avatar is blanked out. Now this is quite important. We need to install the avatar update. A lot of people dismiss this, but it is kind of important, because if you have the Xbox 360 Kinect, it will not work unless you have the avatar update. The same goes for Link. If you use Link to play online, Freestyle Dash's online service Link, you will get fatal crashes on certain games if you don't have this avatar update installed. You also get problems with launching games, disks unreadable errors now and again, maybe fatal crashes here and there. So it's kind of important you install this. If you go on a stealth service, you will still be prompted to do an update until you have this avatar update installed. So to install the avatar update offline, what we're going to do is we're going to go back onto the computer and we're going to download it from Xbox Live. So I'll go back to the computer and show you guys what to do from here. So now we have the dash kernel updated. What we need to do is get the avatar update. So if you actually have a stealth service, so you can get on Xbox Live with some kind of stealth service, then what you can do is just go online with the stealth service. It will prompt you to do a system update, but because you've already updated the dash kernel, it won't flash the NAND, it will just install the avatar update for you. But if you don't go online, you can still get it manually by copying it over via USB stick, which is what we're going to do. So to do this, we need to go online and we need to actually go to xbox.com. Now the link should be xbox.com/update, just like this, and that'll take you to where you need to be. Now if this does not take you to this page, then it could be because you live in a different country and the link is different depending on what country you live in. So if you just go to xbox.com, then to get to it, we go on xbox.com, you click on support, or you hover over support, click on Xbox 360. On the left, click on system, then click on system update, and then click on how to get a new Xbox 360 update. So that's the other way to access this page here. So once we're on this page, we want to click on copy to a USB flash drive, and then copy to USB flash drive, click download the update file, and it will start downloading the update down here. Now I already have it downloaded, so I'm going to cancel it. You would just let that download. I have it on the desktop here. Open up the zip file, and then you want to extract it to the desktop like I've done here. So once you have it, we're going to have to copy that to a USB. So we're going to go head on into our USB stick again, and we're going to copy this system update folder into the USB. It must be in the root of the USB. Do not put it in any folders. Just put the $system update folder in the root of the USB stick. It's very important you don't put it in any folders, otherwise this will not work. Okay, now once it has copied over, you can do two things. One is just plug this USB stick into the console and wait to see if you get an update prompt. As soon as you plug in that USB stick, after a couple of seconds, you should get a prompt, a message box on the Xbox that says a new system update is available, do you want to update now? If you do not get that message, then you have to rename this folder and replace the first S in system with another $sign. So it's like that, $YSTEM update. This is what I have to do. Most likely most of you will have to do this as well. So rename it to that. And if that doesn't work, then you have to just leave it as it was with the capital S. So for some consoles, that will give you the update prompt if you plug in the USB stick. For most other consoles, the $2 signs like that will give you the update prompt. So for me, I know that I have to do the $2, and that is how I have to name it. So I leave it like this, and I'm going to unplug it, and I'm going to plug it into the console, and I'll show you what happens on the console and how to get it updated. Okay guys, as you can see, I'm on the console now. So I haven't got the USB stick plugged in, but I'm going to plug it in. So I'm plugging it in right now. So I plugged it in, wait a couple of seconds. The text storage devices have been changed, and there we go, update required. So now that this has popped up, you just say yes, because we've already you can see it's extracting from the USB. Right, sorry about that guys, so we're restarting it now, and yeah, as I was saying, it's recording switched off and the console turned off. So the console will turn off and it will reboot, and because we've already flashed the NAND, this update will not harm the console. It's only going to install the little extras like the avatar update and stuff like that. And here we go, so we're going back into Freestyle Dash, and we should now have our avatar showing. Yep, there we go, we've got our avatar back. And that is it, guys. That's how you fully update. If we go back to the normal dash holding down right bumper, you'll see that our avatar has returned. So that is how you do the full updates, and this counts for all future updates. Pretty much all future updates should be exactly the same as this, so I'm not making any new videos from now on how to update the dash kernel. I think I've covered pretty much everything that needs to be covered in this video, apart from coronas. Again, I apologize to you guys out there who have coronas. I don't have a corona myself, so I cannot demonstrate how to update with a corona motherboard, so I do apologize for that. But if I find a guide on how to do coronas, I will put it in the description. But for everybody else, this should cover everything for you guys. So yes, any future updates, check this, come back to this video. I will have new links in the description for all the new future updates that come out for the Xbox 360. And that's it. Thank you for watching. Go ahead, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Like the video if you liked it. Comment if you have any questions, and I will hopefully see you guys in my next video.